Hey, happy hump day, everyone. 2 days late, but Mitchell back here on my MI Sports Talk Bracketology. This is edition 4 for you guys. It was from February 17th, CBS Sports, Jerry Palm's bracket. So, welcome back to my video and channel. And then for those of you that are new, just please consider liking and subscribing. Baylor will beat, I think Baylor out of the South region will beat Robert Morris or Norfolk State, which I think Norfolk State will beat Robert Morris. Robert Morris hasn't been in the tournament in a while, but I think the Bears will pull that out there in a very tough game. And St. Mary's I was about to pick, but I'm going to take Xavier over them. And Marquette with Marcus Howard, they really struggled. He hurt his nose last night, but they got very lucky for him to stay there against Doug McDermott's former team with Creighton. So I'm going to have them beat Stanford and Wichita State, which 12 versus 5 seeds are very tough. So that would be a very intense matchup if they had them. But I'll take them, have the Duds over them. But then Auburn will beat Akron. So Akron will be out right away. I have Virginia also beating my Wolverines, even though I was very impressed on how Michigan played on Sunday against Indiana. They also beat Michigan State about 2 Saturdays ago. I just don't think they're going to have potential. And if Isaiah Livers still isn't healthy by the tournament time, just because the Big Ten tournament starts, I think Diakite and Tony Bennett's Virginia team will end up winning it because they are still going to be locked in the tournament. Because they beat someone big last week in the ACC. So we're going to have them riding as 11th seed there. And I also have them beating Seton Hall just because of their premier talent. And I think they're going to... going down to this region, I think LSU, they could have beaten Kentucky last night, but I think they got enough experience to win one game in the tournament. To talk a little slower here. Maryland will beat 15 seed with Thromp, and I think Maryland, just with their size and premier talent, I think they're going to be too much for LSU, as much as I want LSU to make another round just like last year. I'll go for the Big Ten there, and I'll go with Maryland, and then they will also end Virginia's Cinderella run. For a year, they were the reigning champions, so they will miss the Final Four rematch with Auburn by only 1 game. But Auburn with Bruce Pearl, I think they are going to the Final Four again. So they will repeat their trip to Atlanta for this year, and we will have a South Regional champion as a 4 seed. We will have San Diego State beat Montana. Texas Tech will beat Illinois, and then I don't think Texas Tech will have enough this year without Jared Culver to pull out another upset, just like when they upset Michigan last year in the Sweet 16. So we'll take San Diego State to keep riding. And I think Colorado will have enough to beat Liberty, even though Liberty is a Cinderella pick out of a lot of people's brackets this year. I see just Colorado being consistent, and they can easily go to the Sweet 16, and then they'll also be the tough West Virginia team, because West Virginia is very good in the regular season. But I think once they get to big tournament play, they're going to probably struggle. So we will have a 5th seed in the Sweet 16. But then I'm really trusting San Diego State. So I have them early on going to the NCAA Final Four. And then I have Iowa, since Bohannon's really hurt right now, and they actually had a rough one last night. They got upset by Northwestern. Not Northwestern, but Illinois. That was a very big shocker, and I think Florida has premier talent. And then they'll also beat Villanova, as they just keep downsizing every year. In the tournament, they lost to Purdue last year, and they don't have a Chris Jenkins or Ryan Arcidiacono type of team anymore. So Florida will be riding as our second 11th seed in the tournament. But then their Cinderella run, I have Houston beating Duke. It will end against Houston, and Houston Cinderella run will end against San Diego State, because they might be in a weak conference. But I tell you what, folks, I think they are tournament ready, because they do keep winning games, and they're showing the world and the nation who they're all about. So congratulations, San Diego State. I did the initials, but you are your East Region champions. And for the West Region, I have Gonzaga beating San Diego State. The Badgers beating Oklahoma in a very tough 8 versus 9 matchup. Florida State was in the Elite 8 as a 9th seed, so I have them also beating Gonzaga. Michigan did beat Gonzaga, so you never know what they are going to go down in the tournament just because of their weak conference play. I think, honestly, sometimes their conference play is even worse than San Diego State's, but don't at me if I'm wrong. Just keep that in mind, I would think, once tournament time goes. And Stephen F. Austin did beat Duke, but I don't think they'll have enough to beat John Calipari's Wildcats, and Oregon's kind of on a downfall right now. They're actually down to a 4 seed after being a 3 seed a week ago. So I'll definitely have Kentucky pulling that out there. And Kentucky will beat Wisconsin from a rematch of the 2015 Final Four and 2014 when Aaron Harrison hit that game-winning shot. And I think that'll happen again. It will be a very close game, unfortunately. But my state, Wisconsin Badgers, will be going down that one. And I have Ohio State beating Utah State, but unfortunately they don't have enough to pull out Creighton, Greg McDermott's Creighton Blue Jays. They just shot the ball on fire last night. They were probably like 69%. I watched most of that game after the Badgers were over, and they are legit. I think they're gonna go very far in the tournament. And Florida State, just because they do keep their players till their senior year, I think they are gonna beat Rhode Island, and USC is not good enough to beat them. And I'll have Florida State beating Creighton as well, because Florida State has more prime to them. I think they're gonna finally push a spot for the West champion to go to the Final Four. And that brings a matchup. I'm making this short and sweet today. That brings a matchup of 2 4 seeds in the Final Four. I think Auburn just without that Bryce player. I forgot his last name, but I don't think Bryce Harper is his last name. But I don't think they're gonna have enough to beat the Cardinals under their first year coach, and I think they're gonna make the national championship. I think the number 1 seed, the third top seed in the tournament, will go to San Diego State, and they will beat Florida State. Congrats to Florida State on a great season, but they're not good enough to make the national championship to me in this round if it was ended today. So that brings up a matchup of San Diego State and Louisville. I think last year it's going to go to overtime, just like there was the very first overtime game of all time last year between Texas Tech and Virginia. But I think the lower seed and an upset will happen this time. And I have your Louisville Cardinals for the first time since 2013 when they beat Michigan under head coach Rick Pitino. They will be your 2020 champions in Atlanta, and that's also, actually hint this, that was also the year they won in the same stadium back when it was the Georgia Dome. So those days are coming back, and I think Louisville will repeat the crown there just like the last time when it was there. So hope everyone has a great day and enjoy this video, and then see you guys back Friday for another Big Ten Bracketology. So see you next time.